Stinchfield, the Mexican cartels are the United States' #1 national security threat, not just because Mexico is erupting in violence now after this cartel leader El Mencho was killed, but because these cartels are moving drugs and working notoriously with one of our worst enemies, and that is China. And this combination, this partnership with the cartels and China to kill American citizens is why these cartels need to be eradicated. President Trump has already designated them a terrorist organization. The government of Mexico, much to my surprise, actually, followed El Mencho and one of his romantic interests over the weekend, ultimately leading to a firefight that killed at least 8 of his cartel member security detail and El Mencho himself. The result is cars burning everywhere. We saw that in Tijuana. Our man Oscar Ramirez on the ground in Tijuana documented firsthand the cars being burnt. You had Uber cars being burnt, buses being burnt. Puerto Vallarta in the Jalisco area of Mexico is on fire. This is Dan Dix. He was on earlier this morning. Listen.
As I understand it, they target taxis. There was some attendees at the conference that I was just speaking at who their taxi was taken over. The driver was killed and murdered in front of them. All their luggage, including their passport, was burnt in the car.
So the Mexican government deserves some credit for taking out El Mencho. Remember, El Mencho rose to power after the last drug cartel leader, El Chapo, was taken down. El Mencho comes into power. I give the Mexican government credit. I have to believe there was involvement, maybe not direct involvement, but intelligence, whatever it may be, equipment from the United States government as well. But here's the big problem. You have a president in Mexico, this Sheinbaum woman, who I believe is bought and paid for by the cartels, which means nothing is really going to happen until you get real leadership in there. Now, the scariest thing of all of this is where Mexico is. In my opinion, it is on the brink. It can either stay a republic and a friendly neighbor of the United States, or it can take another turn. And this is what Senator Lily Tellez warns about. She's a Mexican senator. Listen.
And also, Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state.
So why does this matter? It matters because Mexico is our neighbor, not because we need to be friendly to our neighbors, which of course is a great idea, but because Mexico is so close. It is a very big trading partner. Now, Mexico needs us more than we need them, but make no mistake, we need trade with Mexico. We get a lot of things from Mexico, including vegetables and all kinds of things come out of Mexico to the United States. So you have that. If Mexico went the way of Venezuela, that would put a devastating blow, I believe, on the U.S. economy, which is why we cannot let this happen. Look at Mexico today. It looks like a war zone, okay? Those are cars burning in the Puerto Vallarta area as tourists there are literally stranded. We cannot allow this to happen. So how bad is it? How did we get there? I want to bring in now live from we don't have, okay. All right. Before we talk about how we got there, I'm going to flip things up a little bit. What do we do to deal with the cartels? I will tell you this. The cartels have been limited now because President Trump has slowed down movement across the border, movement of drugs and movement, of course, of human trafficking. The worst part of this for the cartels is that affects their bottom line. Now you get their leader killed, and these are like rabid dogs moved into the corner. So when you think about this, Trump declares them a terrorist organization. I believe we need to actually do something about that before the cartels want to move into the United States. If they can't operate from Mexico into the United States, my biggest fear is they'll come into the United States and start trying to operate here. So let's get them there first. This is Tim Burchett with an idea, our friend from Tennessee.
What it does is allows the president to hire privateers. They're going to go get first-tier operators, former SEALs, former airborne rangers, folks like that, Marines, Marine Raiders, folks like that, that would, that may be still active in some sort, more or less private contractors, and allow them to go after these cartels in other countries.
So he's talking about mercenaries, and he has a bill in Congress that would enable them to do that. Why? You basically make an end run around international law without sending a foreign government's military into a sovereign nation. It's a decent idea. The reality is President Trump has enough gumption. He's got enough force, certainly, with Mexico's need of the United States as a trading partner, that President Trump could put the screws, I believe, the shine bomb, to ultimately let him in and our special operators in to do the job. And if they did the job, it wouldn't go pretty for the cartel members. This is the founder of Black Rifle Coffee. He was also a special operator.
If we declare war on the cartel, like these dudes are not going to understand what the is going on.
No,
like,
of course not.
They are going to be, because God,
you'll
God
stop the
bless those
distribution.
guys.
That's going to be, yeah.
They are in for a world of like ultra violence they've never actually felt before.
Well, I believe that's true, and I believe much of it could be done with drones. Now, if it got to the point where we're going to go root them out, it's not pretty either. Now, the United States would just steamroll the cartels, but it's not easy. You're talking about having an urban warfare going house to house, much like the Israelis had to do in Gaza. It's a scary prospect, but again, it may be the most needed prospect that we have to keep America safe, as the cartels are a huge threat to us. I want to bring in now someone to discuss this who knows firsthand just what a threat the cartels are. Border Security Advisor for the Federation for American Immigration Reform, and of course, former Border Patrol agent himself, Art Del Cueto, is back with us. Art, welcome to the program.
Hey, Grant, thank you so much for having me on. It is quite a mess that we're looking at. Look, people need to understand this. Look, I am 100% in agreement. We are the elite. The United States, our government, our military, it's the elite. But they need to understand these individuals, they play by a different set of rules. They don't need to worry about, war rules or anything like that. These are vicious individuals. A lot of them have been trained by the military themselves. They took out, El Mencho, which was at the top of the leadership. But within hours, they had another individual that already took over, and he's in charge. So people need to understand that it will get, you said it best, it will get ugly. If they have to send in the military from the United States, it will get ugly. And you got to remember, a lot of these individuals, they've pulled on the right heartstrings when it comes to the people in certain areas, certain villages of Mexico. They're not hated by some people. They've helped out some of them. They're almost like a Robin Hood-esque to some individuals. So it's not going to be as easy as let's go in there, find out who they are, and take them out. In addition, many of them are going to be dressed like all the rest of the civilians in Mexico as well.
Art, I had video of just over the weekend. They severed someone's head. I chose not to play it on this program. They severed someone's head, hung it from a drone, and flew it over the town to let them know just how brutal they are. So I don't doubt their brutality here. Now, my question to you, Art, is the United States military, well, we know they're capable of it. Do you think it's a good idea? You heard me saying I think it's a good idea to finally go in and take them out. Do you think it's a good idea that the United States military engage in this war on a group that Trump has already dubbed a terrorist organization?
Look, they're obviously a terrorist organization. I'm very grateful that President Trump has deemed them a terrorist organization. That's a long time coming. Now, I hope that the Mexican government can be able to negotiate a little bit better with the U.S. To be able to go after these individuals. Their own military is capable as well to go after them, but they have to go in there with full force. They have to have the right intel. Do I think it's a bad idea to have the United States? Absolutely not. The United States has to go and be able to, assist and do some form of tactical units to help get rid of the vermin that has existed in Mexico for quite some time and has terrorized a lot of the people. But what I want individuals to understand, Grant, is it's not going to be that easy. There will be some casualties on both sides if it turns into some kind of urban warfare down on the ground. And that's what's important. People need to understand that this is a group that has, amassed billions upon billions of dollars, especially during the last 4 years of, when Biden was in office. They have a lot of, weapons, technology. They have young kids that are in certain areas of the jungles in Mexico where they're recruiting them to come and help. I posted a video on my own Instagram of a very young child that's working in the poppy fields, helping these cartels, and his mom is with him, and he's telling his mom, I want to make enough money to buy my favorite bag of potato chips. That's what's been happening in Mexico for quite some time. Now, I know some of the people in a lot of the towns have locked themselves up in their own households because the threat now is that a lot of these individuals are going town to town, pulling younger kids out of their homes, recruiting them, and having them be their soldiers in this warfare when it comes to the cartel and the government. So it's not an easy thing to do.
So you're in Tucson, Arizona, near the border. We see a lot of this violence now escalating on some of these border towns, also Puerto Vallarta, which is Jalisco. That's where basically this cartel, this cartel is based. Art, I want to ask you, we know that the human trafficking has been stopped tremendously as the border has been shut down. I said on my podcast earlier today, I think we've put a dent in the drug trafficking, but I think the cartels are still being able to move drugs into the United States. Am I wrong with that assessment?
You're not wrong. They're still moving drugs into the United States. They've become very creative in the way that they've done it. Look, they have scouts. They have individuals that are watching the line at all times. They keep tabs of all the agents when they're coming through different areas of the road. You're not just dealing with just a bunch of ragtag individuals. They've done this for quite some time. And one thing that people need to understand, it's experience. Experience has a lot to do with it. And a lot of these groups, their parents were drug smugglers. Their grandfathers were drug smugglers. It's a long line of individuals where that's all they've ever dedicated their lives to. So they know what they're doing. They have different smuggling methods. Now you throw in the technology with drones. They're able to fly drones and drop off drugs into the United States as well. Remember, fentanyl, you can pack that and bring it across a lot easier. Mm-hmm. And another thing is, you have individuals in the U.S. already that have come across from these cartels that are operating in the U.S. More than likely, they have their own, areas in the U.S. where they're making the drugs themselves. They're utilizing the chemicals. And then you add this new factor of there's a drug war going on. So you're going to have some individuals from the opposing cartel that are now going to rush and enter the United States. Some of them are going to be asking for asylum themselves now because they're saying, hey, look, I'm from the rival cartel. I'm scared to get killed myself. Now you don't know who's who. The domino effect of this is tremendous. And I don't think there's enough individuals that understand how bad this is going to get. It's going to get really bad. And now you have American citizens, many who I know of and I've been in contact with, that are in Mexico right now, and they're not able to leave the country and come back to the United States because of all the horrific issues that have been happening in various parts of that country now. So they're stuck in Mexico.
That is a frightening prospect. And actually, you already answered my last question, so I don't even have to ask it. And that is, Are they already here and are they coming? And the short answer is what Art just laid out is yes and yes. And that's why we need to really take them out before they overwhelm the United States. And they're already on the track of doing that. Art Del Cueto, it's always good to see you. Art Del Cueto AZ on the platform X. Thank you, my friend, as always.
Thank you, Grant. Stay safe. God bless.
Absolutely. You too. You know, folks, so what I relate this to is, do I want to see boots on the ground in Iran? No, I don't. Do I want to blow Iran's nuclear facilities to kingdom come? Absolutely. No problem. Do I want the United States to do what it can to protect Taiwan? Yes. Do I want to see boots on the ground fighting China? No. Am I okay with boots on the ground in Mexico fighting cartel workers? Absolutely. 100%, because those cartel members are having a direct effect on killing American citizens. All right. It is a danger to our national security. And I don't like putting people in harm's way. It's not my first choice. But let me tell you something. These special operators, anybody that joins the United States military and puts a flag on their shoulder, they know exactly what they're getting into. They don't need us looking out for them. They know what they're up against and they know what they signed up for. And this war against the cartels, I believe, is exactly what some of our special operators signed up for. They would be instantly saving American citizens if they take out these cartel members. So this, folks, as the cartels are pushing still, as Art said, drugs into the United States. And listen to some of these Democrats. This is Seth Moulton, Cut 17.
The problem is that ICE is not keeping our borders safe. They're making our cities unsafe, especially the blue cities that Donald Trump wants to target. The violence is the point right now with ICE, and I've even talked to ICE officers who are ashamed by their organization, ashamed of what their organization has become. The bottom line is that ICE was created by George W. Bush after 9/11. It should.
I want that guy off my screen because he lies. I want you to tell me what ICE agent is ashamed of what he's doing. I've not spoken to one, and I have talked to many, okay? That is a flat-out fabrication. What is going on in Mexico, what is happening with the cartels is the exact reason why we need ICE now more than ever. I want to bring in now to discuss this former U.S. Navy JAG officer, former federal prosecutor, and now Republican U.S. Senate candidate in North Carolina. Early voting is underway in the Republican primary out in North Carolina. Our buddy Don Brown is surging in the polls, which is great to see. Don, I believe you are the grassroots candidate, and welcome to the program, my friend.
Thank you, Grant. There's no doubt that we are the grassroots candidate. We have not only some great national endorsements like from General Mike Flynn, 24th National Security Advisor of the United States, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, former Delta Force commander, and man, did Delta Force do a great job in Venezuela a month or so ago, General Jerry Boykin, and also my friend, Patriot Attorney Sidney Powell. But also, Grant, we've been endorsed by more North Carolina grassroots organizations than every other campaign combined. So yes, we are the grassroots campaign. We're in there punching hard. We're gonna win this thing, and we're going to support President Trump's effort in the United States Senate to save Americans from these deadly and insidious cartels that y'all have been talking about. And I'm looking forward to being there to do what I can to try to save American lives.
All right. So no coincidence. Everybody you named that endorsed you is all great friends of this program, and I've known for years. And go figure, all the great ones are spot on. So good news there. Now, I want to specifically ask you about what's happening in Mexico today and how important Mexico is to the United States. Many people may not want to admit it, but Mexico is certainly important to the United States. We had a Mexican U.S. senator just moments ago say in a soundbite that she's worried Mexico could go the way of Venezuela. Don Brown, I'll ask you, what would that do to the American economy, to America in general, and our national security?
Well, let's understand this operation that we're talking about, where we have the Mexican authorities going out and taking out this El Mencho, this leader of this cartel group. I think when we use the phrase cartel, we in some ways undersell the dangerous this situation that we're seeing there in Mexico. These are actually paramilitary organizations. They're basically military organizations that are fueled by drug money, very much like that we were seeing with Venezuela, starting with the Bolivarians and then going up to Maduro. And when this operation took place today, this cartel, they basically opened up operations and started to attack in 20 Mexican states, 250 roadblocks. And think about it, this, Grant, for every American kid that dies from fentanyl, and we have lost more Americans in 1 year to fentanyl than we lost in 10 years to the Vietnam War. It is a weapon of mass destruction. Every American that dies from that stuff, the epicenter, the origin of the supply chain is usually from a cartel just like this. And it is a matter of national security. And I agree with you. We may need to put boots on the ground there to finish it off.
All right, so let me ask you, as a constitutional guy, as a lawyer, as a Navy JAG officer, if you were advising the president on how to do this, because it looks like at least standards would be you'd want the approval of the Mexican government to come into a sovereign nation with your military. But we reach a point where Sheinbaum may not do that. Are there ways, in your estimation, that President Trump could get around that and send special forces in? Tim Burch had offered up the prospect of putting United States mercenaries in there. Your thoughts?
Well, first off, my criteria for using United States military, I don't think we should be the policemen of the world. I think we should use the military only as a last resort. But the first question is the national security of the United States at stake. And these fentanyl, cocaine, methamphetamine, all these drugs that have come across the border is a national security issue. These the fentanyl problem, these are weapons of mass destruction. So there is justification for it. Yes, you would want to get cooperation from the Mexican authorities. If not, Americans are dying, and you do run the risk. When you have paramilitary organizations that have the ability to overwhelm even the Mexican government, if they get larger and larger and larger, that spills over. And so the U.S.-Mexican border becomes not only the epicenter for dangerous drugs coming across, but you run the risk of these cartels bleeding across and killing Americans as well. So you need to nip it in the bud when you can. I would advise the president to try to work with the Mexican government, but if not, then you look at other options.
Don Brown, it's always great having you on the program. Where can people find you?
brownfornc.com is our website. That's brown, fornc.com. Love to have folks come on. We've got a primary here a week from tomorrow. We're going to win this thing, but we still need all the help we can get, and we appreciate all those great patriots who watch your show, Grant, and appreciate you also.
Well, we appreciate you, Don Brown, and I know early voting is underway in North Carolina, just as it is here in Texas, folks, as well. So there are some states where the primary is March 3rd. Get out there and vote. It is so important. Don Brown, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, we'll continue to cover this and others. We got a big show ahead. Just put it that way. All right, listen up. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There is a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years, and a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text America to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. Text America to the number 989898 and do it today. All right, Team USA's gold medal reminds us why we love America and why we love President Trump. Talk about that next.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
Followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer, in the moments I'm afraid, There's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience anytime. So just go to angel.com/Rav and join there.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots.
Folks, consider this. On the eve of President Trump's State of the Union address, yes, can you believe it's been a year since he took office, 13 months actually, there was another attempt on President Trump's life. Now, he wasn't at Mar-a-Lago over the weekend when a deranged lunatic shows up with a gas can and a shotgun in the middle of the night. Now, yeah, he was deranged. Yeah, President Trump wasn't there. But the reality is this shows how bad people want our president dead. Okay? And by the way, all these potential assassins are deranged lunatics. So that's not an excuse not to be concerned about this. They're all lunatics. It only takes one to get lucky. So thankfully, President Trump wasn't there. As that's happening, you still have Democrats saying they're not going to show up for the State of the Union address. They may walk out on President Trump for the State of the Union address. It is such a lack of respect. Not that I care that they're there or not. I really could give a rat's ass whether they're in the room. But it tells you everything you need to know about Democrats and people like pencil neck Senator Adam Schiff.
He is letting loose ICE troops in our streets that are getting people killed. I will not be attending the State of the Union. I've never missed one. I have always gone both to inaugurations and to States of the Union, but we cannot treat this as normal. This is not.
I can't treat you as normal. Here's the reality. We pay you to be there. So it is part of your job. Whether you're a senator from California or not, you still get paid by taxpayers across this country. That's part of your job to be there. I'm telling you, if I was a sitting United States congressman and I had to show up to Biden's State of the Union, I wouldn't walk out or not show up. I probably wouldn't even scream things like liar or whatever. I'd just sit there and listen because I want to look my enemy in the eye, my political foe in the eye. And hopefully they see me and see how mad I am. But he's not going to show up. Why? Their leaders don't care. This is Chuck Schumer, another disrespecting jerk.
As of now, because I respect the whole institution, but I don't respect Donald Trump one bit, I will go. But the bottom line is there are a lot of my colleagues who aren't going to go.
What do you think about that?
I think that's fine with me. Everyone should make his own choice. As the Democratic leader,
I just want to know how dumb these Democrats are. What do you want for this country? We have a stock market literally booming. We've got manufacturing numbers on the rise. We've got production that is literally up. We've got crime rates that are down in every category, in every major city across the country. What do you want? Inflation is down. Interest rates are coming back down. What do you want? Let's bring in now founder and editor of the Gateway Pundit, our good friend Jim Hoft is with us. Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, Grant, it's good to be with you.
Jim, it's great to see you. What more do they want, Jim? I don't know. I'm confused.
That's such a great question. When you look at everything that Trump has accomplished, and Grant, it's only been 1 year and 2 months since he's been in office the second time, and he's accomplished just unbelievable things in that amount of time. The eight wars that he was able to resolve, the peace breaking out across the world. Just last week, the Egyptian president said there never would have been a peace agreement in Gaza if it wasn't for Donald Trump. We're hearing that from leaders all around the world. Even Central Asia are saying Donald Trump is the leader of the world today. So he's so well respected around the world. It's just that these Democrats, and you're right, what do they want? Do they want the complete destruction of America? I mean, Trump is bringing so much back to America. And, yesterday was the icing on the cake with the Winter Olympics and the gold medal for the hockey team, the men's hockey team. It just brings everything full circle from when I was a kid in 1980, and it feels like America is back.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jim, because I actually have a clip. I was going to get to it in a little bit, but since you brought it up, let's roll cut 4, because we may have some special guests, a whole slew of them, by the way, at the State of the Union tomorrow. Roll that.
Begin anytime soon, right? And, I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something. But if you would like to, it's the coolest night. It's the biggest.
We're in.
Yeah.
So that is the U.S. hockey team being invited to the State of the Union by President Trump. What other president would give them a call like that, Jim?
It's really just amazing how he talks to people, and it's just like they've been friends for a long time, like he's their uncle or something. And yet he's so relatable, and his hockey team is just exceptional. It's really America's best, and it's just such a great day for America. I can't wait to see him tomorrow at the State of the Union address with Donald Trump.
All right, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to throw you on the spot here because I don't know quite how you might feel about this. But I had an argument with a very, very good friend of mine. I'm not going to say who it is because I'm not going to call him out on this. But I thought Kash Patel with the hockey team was fabulous. I thought this is the end of the Washington elite and him celebrating, even drinking. I had no problems with it. Roll the cut of Kash, and then I want to get your opinion on it, Jim. So that's Kash, super excited like everybody was. I thought it really was what we voted for, in fact. Where do you stand on Kash celebrating the way he did with those guys?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think he was having a great time. I think they loved having him there. I believe he plays hockey on a league in New York. At least he used to. So, I thought it was fabulous. It just shows how relatable everyone in this administration is, and they can be serious when they have to be serious, and they can cut loose like Kash Patel did yesterday. Every once in a while too.
Well, one thing you and I agree on, I think, is we like guys. And I like seeing guys celebrate and not being all buttoned up and super serious about everything. We just won a gold medal. It's fabulous. Lastly, I'll ask you this, Jim. What would you like to see tomorrow from President Trump?
I think I think he's going to deliver. I think what's fabulous is that he has so much that he can tell the American public that the American public isn't aware of, Grant. And you know this because the media in this country is so decrepit and corrupt that they have not reported on all of these wonderful stories, all of these developments that have happened in the country in the past year. So I think it's going to be a home run for Trump.
Yeah, I think you're right. I forgot to mention GDP, gross domestic product, up as well. And everything's going in the right direction, including the Gateway Pundit. I'm so amazed you guys continue to have all the success in the world. My podcast is up there today at the Gateway Pundit, so people can check that out as well. And Jim, I love our partnership. I love our friendship, and I love when you come on the program.
All right. Thanks a lot, Grant. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yep, you got it. Check out the website, thegatewaypundit.com. All right, folks, an interesting new contender has entered California's governor's race. We will speak with her next. But first, a quick reminder that Rav's special State of the Union coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. We will be kicking it off right here. Watch this.
President of the United States.
It's been an incredible year for America. The Dow hitting record highs, the border secured, cartels in shambles, dictators captured, wars brought to an end.
America is back.
And the United States respected again around the world. Now, Donald J. Trump delivers his next State of the Union address, laying out the victories and the bold vision for what comes next.
The American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
America now has a strong president, unlike the other guy.
Well, we saved the planet from the climate crisis. Are you stupid?
Live coverage starts this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss the real State of the Union on Real America's Voice.
It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
Followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer, in the moments I'm afraid. There's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky, when I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience anytime. So just go to angel.com/Rav and join there.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots.
Welcome back, everyone. The race for California's governor is on, and this is very important because California is the incubator for all things idiotic. And a new governor that is not have a D next to their name would be a big step in the right direction, and I believe it would stop Gavin Newsom in his tracks in his quest for the presidency, because it would be a devastating blow to his policies and idiocy. He literally insulted an entire crowd of black folks by, virtually calling them stupid. Listen to this.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
He just told an entire audience of black folks that I'm as dumb as you because you got a 960 on the SATs and I can't read. None of you can either. Do you understand how racist and offensive that is? But that's today's Democrat Party. There is an interesting candidate that has now entered the race. You may have heard of her, Elaine Kulati. She is a cast member on the show Undercover Billionaire. I believe it's on Discovery.
Almonds, and a lot of people aren't willing to do this kind of work. Okay, go forward.
Like all forklifts and big equipment like that, you have to be good at kind of patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time.
Comes in handy when you run for governor. Pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. I want to bring in now to discuss this entrepreneur, real estate developer, and independent candidate for governor. No party preference, as they call it out there in California. Elaine Kulati is with us. Elaine, welcome to the program.
Hi, Grant. Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I wanted you to know that it's not that he can't read, a speech. He also can't read a balance sheet. So, there's that.
He's got a lot of problems, Gavin Newsom. All right, so I'm going to be honest. I Googled you. I watched some of your interviews. I was impressed with you. I said, okay, I'll have this lady on. Now, Steve Hilton is my friend. I'm a big Steve Hilton fan, so I'll tell you that as we move into this. But here's my tough question to you out of the gate. You have no party preference and independent. I have spent my entire career saying if you can't decide what side of the field you're on with everything going on today, I don't know what's wrong. So is this just a ploy to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be a Democrat, but this is a way. I'm not going to be a Republican. This is a way to maybe take the governor's mansion in Sacramento.
Well, I think it's a bigger issue is rather than, not being able to decide, you have to first accept the fact that on the left and on the right, there are decisions being made, bills being passed, legislation being drafted, policy that does not agree with their own policy, meaning their own Democratic views. For example, this weekend, I don't know if you know, but it was the Democratic convention in Sacramento. And the whole purpose is to get behind a candidate running for governor. Well, they couldn't even decide amongst themselves who to vote for. And Katie Porter's angle was to hold an FU sign up regarding Trump and try to get the whole entire team to chant. So it's not about whether or not I'm undecided. I'm absolutely certain I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm absolutely certain I'm not a Democrat anymore. My party left me. So what I want to do is bring the middle together because it is so big. In California, so many people have left the Democratic Party, and we need a voice. Us people that are just normal people need a voice, and I'm the voice of them.
All right, so I used to do radio out in Los Angeles for 4 years. I just left the end of last year. Everyone in California, I mean this, that told me they were an independent was actually a Republican afraid to say they were a Republican in California. Am I onto something?
I think you are onto something. I think there's a lot of those too. 41% polled. My friend Owen Brennan, Republican, by the way, works with Steve Hilton, who's also a friend. I love Steve. I like Chad. I mean, we have really great people running on the conservative side. But the problem is that Sacramento is Democratic. You know, you've got Democratic House and Senate, and what are you going to do if you can't move across the party line? Katie Porter's taking a position of F Trump. So is Eric Swalwell. And we've already been F Trump for the last year. We have none of the economic development coming into the United States. Zero.
Because I don't have a lot of time. Can I throw some yes or no questions at you?
Yes, you can ask me hard questions too.
Okay. Is raising taxes the answer to revenue in California?
100% no, it's economic development.
Is throwing money at the homeless problem the way to solve it in California?
100% no. Cities need to advocate for themselves. They need to remove what they call unfunded mandates. We need institutions for each category. I think you already know that. It's not the way we're doing it.
Is buddying up with the teachers union and throwing more money at education the way to solve our educational problems in California?
In the Fairfax district, the teachers union just voted to trans kids. I think that the teachers union has lost the plot. There's got to be a complete reorganization of the teachers union if they're voting for those kind of things.
All right, here's the tough one where we may vary. Do you defend the right to life?
Of course I do, but I also I'm a woman, and women believe in women's choice. Things between their doctor and a woman are their dose. I'm not for abortion. How dare people say they are for abortion? What a thing to say. I think the best thing to do is read the book of empathy. When empathy goes too far and you forget who the victim is the baby.
So I think what I figured out, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I think you're a pro-choice Republican. And in some respects, I almost wish you'd run as a Democrat because you could win as a Democrat, even with the policies, because all they want to see is a D next to your name. But
unorganized. It's just a real mess right now. It doesn't deserve any good candidates.
Hey, I will be watching your campaign, and if you want to come back on again, Elaine, if you have anything new that you're doing, please come on. I'd be so willing to talk to you more. You're cool. I like you.
Have me on any time you need me, and I could just be a filler for you.
All right. Where can people go to find you?
They can find me at Kaladi for California. Kaladi for California. Website, donate, help me out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Elaine. We appreciate you coming on today. All right, I hate having to bust through those interviews so fast, but interesting candidate. You see where we're going, and the independent, always interesting in California. All right, coming up next, smart investors are still bullish on the markets despite fears over tariffs and conflict with Iran. We'll talk about it next, but first, check out the new official energy drink of Real America's Voice, Soldier Fuel.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of Real America's Voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really good.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and use promo code REALAmerica for 15% off.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
There's a light I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer in the moments I'm afraid. There's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky when I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience anytime. So just go to angel.com/Rav and join there.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots.
Welcome back, everyone. So the big question everybody's asking is, how does this SCOTUS decision with tariffs affect your bottom line? Are we still in the bull market of all bull markets when it comes to the stocks? I want to bring in now Vertical Research Advisory CEO Kip Herridge to the program. Kip, welcome, my friend.
Hey, Grant, good to see you again.
All right, your thoughts on the big decision. You've been calling for a bull market. Does this change anything?
It really doesn't. We're as bullish as ever. Matter of fact, we think we're going to see gains of 30 to 50% this year. As you know, we tend to get these big calls pretty much right. As to the SCOTUS decision, I think what the Supreme Court did was confirm that Trump has more power than he ever had before when it comes to tariffs. Even Bloomberg had to admit today over the weekend, and I think what had to be a pretty painful article, that Trump now has 5 additional sections that he can rely on for tariff policy, and none of these are open or need to be require congressional approval. And what's important to remember, I think, is this. It's not the news that matters. It's the market's reaction to that news. From the April 7th tariff mania market lows of last April, in the last 10 months, the market's up on average now 50%. That's all 4 indexes average up about 50% from that day. Yeah. So that clearly the markets like Trump's tariff policies. We continue to, as you know, Grant, calling our big 3, which has been our big 3 since Trump got elected, of the Trump economic miracle, the innovation revolution, and absolute ocean of liquidity out there that's going to continue to drive the market higher. We see these dips as buying opportunities.
All right, so VRAinsider.com is the website, VRAinsider.com. Here's what I love. If they go to your site right now, they get a free 2-week trial, and they get access to everything, the back end, your whole portfolio, which averaged, 37% over the last 3 years and consistently beating the market, going all the way back 22, 23 years. 37%, it's unheard of, Kip.
Well, I've been in the business 40 years. I've learned from my mistakes. I made plenty of those over the years. But I was on Wall Street 15 years, helped take 7 companies public, managed several $100 million. And I learned a lot from that. I actually learned how not to invest for clients. I had great mentors that taught me another way to invest. That's what we teach our subscribers and our clients here. We have our VRA investing system. What that teaches us, Grant, is where the markets are right now, what sectors we should be in, and then we drill down and pick the stocks that we need to be in as well. That's what we do. We recommend ETFs, individual equities, and of course, as you know, we're big fans of gold, silver, the miners, and yes, Bitcoin.
And here's what makes it so easy, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kip. It's never more than 10 to 15 positions in any one of these things, correct? And what each position, 30 days or longer, typically? I mean, I know it can range, but is that typical?
Our ETFs are our shorter-term positions. We use those as trading vehicles, but our individual stocks, we often hold these for years. These are our favorite growth stocks, what we call our 10-baggers, that have the potential to go up more than 1,000%. I've been very fortunate to pick a lot of those, a high number of those in my career. And you're right. We believe in diversification, but not in over-diversification. A lot of investors believe they've got to own 30, 40, 50 stocks. It's just not the case. We typically hold, as you say, 10 to 15 positions. We update our subscribers every morning with what we're doing with our money, so you can do what you want to with yours. And if you'd like to follow our recommendations, follow along.
VRAinsider.com. I can tell you, folks, I have put a sizable portion of my portfolio aside to follow Kip and his recommendations. I love the newsletter every morning. You're going to get it for free for 2 weeks. You'll see exactly what the portfolio is. VRAinsider.com, VRAinsider.com. Real quick, Kip, 10 seconds. You want to give one stock tip away?
I'll give one stock tip away. I got to say Snowline Gold. We love the gold miners. We're up in this one. Well, combined, we're up over 1,000%. Our two gold miners. Snowline Gold, that's the one to buy. It's about $12 a share now. We think it's an $80 to $100 stock.
I love that you do that for me and Stinchfield's Army, Kip. Thank you very, very much. I'll tell people where they can find you. It's always great having you on the program. Here's what I want you to do, folks. Go to VRAinsider.com. Do it now to get your free 2-week membership. I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you. I have put a sizable portion of my portfolio aside following him, and I have been very happy. We are back, folks, in a flash with some final thoughts.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
Always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience.
They tried to shut them up.
There's no guarantee to free speech.
They tried to cancel them.
Deplatforming works.
They even threw them in jail.
Peter Navarro,
Steve Bannon,
now in prison.
But they couldn't stop them.
It's not a prison bill that will ever shut me up.
They call them rebels.
Basket of deplorables.
They call them rogues.
They claim to guns or religion.
And they say they're outlaws.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.